is a weather impact alert day. We're taking you right now here at 7:04 live outside. This is Interstate 49, a live look at the Fulbright Expressway. You can see all of those lights, those drivers at a standstill right now, some of them on snowy road covered conditions.
Yeah, that's because RDOT is reporting that there's been multiple vehicles that have slid off of the road, even a stalled car. So this is just a reminder, you need to take it careful out there because those roads, they are snow packed, and no matter how big those towers are, how big the cars are, this could still happen to you. Thank you so much for joining us for extended coverage this morning as we are dealing with this winter weather.
Yeah, we have lots of coverage for you here. A live look at the conditions across our area as it's happening, what drivers are facing, and even some fun that's happening out there across our area. We could build a snowman, snowball fights. It's good snow for that.
Yeah, I think we're ready to do that after the show. And I know one person who is as well. That would be Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert. He lives for this stuff, and we're excited to hear more about it today, Scott.
I'm ready to have fun. We've gotten through the worst of the storm. Now it's time to enjoy it. And you know, a lot of folks, Tiffany and Joe, went to bed last night with some modest snowfall out there, but they're waking up to a winter wonderland. And so because folks are starting to wake up, get up and around, we're starting to get some better numbers. You're texting these in, and we really appreciate it. Waldron, we just got a report about 10 inches of snow. Pleasant View and Fort Smith, we're hovering right at 8. This number from Poto came in before I went to bed last night, around 11. So I don't think this is current anymore. Okay, Steven's giving me 10 inches in Poto. We'll update that here on my graphic. 6.5 inches in Huntington. That's going to be there in southern Sebastian County. I would love to know how much snow you've picked up in your backyard. 479-785-5000. We would love those official reports, but hey, if you got a cute picture too, we'd love to see it, and we'll be sharing that. We're on the tail end of this event. One of the ways we can know is looking at water vapor imagery. At the core of it, we can go back to some simple earth science here. We needed cold temperatures, check. We needed moisture, had a big influx of that last night, but the moisture axis has pushed off towards the east, and we're seeing some drier air be ingested into this system. So what you're going to notice, yes, there are still snow showers out there. These are slowly but surely going to be tapering off throughout the course of the morning. Right now, the heaviest of which is pretty much in the eastern portions of the 5 News viewing area. We're really looking in at Johnson, Logan, even parts of eastern Scott County. That's where the heaviest of snow is right now, but some snow showers extending further towards the Oklahoma-Arkansas state line. We'll get a bit of a lull in the activity. You see this big dry slot that's developed right here? That's out ahead of our actual cold front. That cold front now slicing through OKC, pretty much running parallel with Interstate 44 there up through Tulsa. That's going to continue swinging off towards the east. That'll be our last burst of snow flurries before we're probably done with this specific system. So in terms of temperatures, that's going to dictate whether or not we see good melting, whether or not we see refreezing tonight, and road conditions likely aren't going to improve really until the latter part of the weekend. We'll take a look at that forecast straight ahead.
All right, thanks for that, Scott. Well, we are continuing to track that winter weather and the impacts that it's making across our entire area. Fabulous reporter Morgan Wrigley, she's been in Fort Smith for the last 24 hours, seeing it all.
Yeah, let's check in with her again live this morning just to get a look at what things are doing right now. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, Tiffany and Joe. Well, we're here along Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Busy road here, as you know, if you live in Fort Smith. And yesterday, everything along here was pretty much shut down in the evening. And you can see why, because look at the amount of snow that there is here. Going into the parking lots, you can't even really see where the driveways are. We know we already have seen people. We're here in the Chewy's parking lot. They've started kind of getting to work shoveling the sidewalks a little bit here. But one thing I will say is this snow is not good for driving. We know RDOT has told us it's a very slick and dangerous snow to drive in. Crews have been working plowing the roads, and you can definitely tell that on Rogers. You can see how high up the snow is and where the plows have come through. Cars have been getting along pretty well here, just taking it slow. But one thing I will say is it may not be good for driving, but it is so good for making snowballs. I've been making some snowballs out here, and sometimes you have that powdery snow. When you try to make a snowman or build a snowball, it just falls apart, but it is packing together so well. That's a solid snowball. So if you're home from school today, it's a good day for the kids to get out, have a snowball fight, build a snowman, have a fun snow day, and maybe stay off the roads. Back to you.
That, Morgan, you see the size of that snowball that she had out there?
Yeah, that was a good snowball. I think she was ready for a snowball fight, that's for sure.
All right, well, let's check in with Sergeant Bray. We have him on the phone this morning with conditions out there. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Okay, Sergeant Ray, so we have to know, what's it looking like for y'all this morning? What does the day look like? What are the road conditions?
Well, the roads are covered with snow, and we called our dispatch center. They said the roads are pretty slick still. No reports of any major accidents or traffic calls that they've had overnight. Officers luckily aren't on any calls at this moment. They did advise that there is a possible road shutdown near Silent Grove and Falcon, that the hill was pretty slick. So if you're in that area, please try to avoid that for the time being. Our public works is out right now trying to work on that section and throughout the city. So we really appreciate their work on trying to get our roadways clear, to get everybody on their daily commute if they got to get out and about today.
So you mentioned that one road. What would you say are the biggest areas that are maybe pretty heavily traveled that are impacted the most that you would advise people to stay away from this morning?
Probably our main thoroughfares would probably be okay. Your side roads, try to avoid those if all possible. I know people got to get to those main thoroughfares, but our street department's going to hit our main arteries, such as 71 Business, in those main thoroughfares throughout town first.
All right, thanks so much for that. We appreciate the update for you today. Make sure you stay safe out there. All right, let's check in with Kayla. We have her live out there this morning. Kayla, where are you and what are you seeing this morning?
Hi, Joe. Hi, Tiffany. We're here right outside of the Washington County Roads Department. We were inside just a bit ago, but now we're back out in the snow. It was pelting hard earlier this morning, but now it's a little serene. It's so beautiful behind me and peaceful. We're having a good time out here. I've got my handy dandy yardstick to measure the snow for you, but we were getting a little bored waiting for you guys to cue us, so we started drawing in the snow. Before this was the CBS Eye, however, not so much anymore. But if you could see it, we've got a Channel 5 out here, a little heart back here, so we're having fun. But let's get some clear snow for you to measure just how much snow is back here right in front of the roads department. It's looking like it's about 4 inches, but in other areas earlier it was about 6. So it's varying depending on probably the hills and whatnot, but we've got a lot of snow. It's a blanket and we're having a good time out here. Will, our photog, was just telling me this is probably the most snow he's ever seen here in Northwest Arkansas, and he's been here for 4 years. I'm only on year 1.5 or so, but we're having a great time. My feet are cold, but it's okay because we're probably gonna make some snowmen and some snow angels here in a little bit. So I'm gonna send it back over to you guys where it's a little bit more warm in the studio.
All right, thanks so much for that, Kayla. All right, this is the Goshen Fire Department. Take a look here, asking people to stay put inside if you can. Now, since 5:30 yesterday, crews have responded to quite a few incidents. This is a look at some of those coming in. They say including 2 structure fires, 2 accidents, a downed tree, even a medical call. Just another reminder to stay inside today if you can. Give crews a chance to clear those roadways.
Yeah, and take a look at these pictures that were sent in to us today. A plow on its side along Mineral Springs Road in Washington County. Now, this is just a reminder, they're out there, they're dealing with the stuff, we are too, so definitely give them space. Take it slow out there, because no matter how big your truck is, that doesn't mean that you're in the clear.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's take you back out on the roadways there, because already as people are waking up, they're getting out there, seeing some accidents. Let's check in with Stephen for a look at your road conditions.
Yeah, really the big story right now is what's going on the Fulbright. That's where the big accident is right now. Good news is crews have already started responding to that accident. What RDOT was reporting is that this section of the Fulbrights, cars started sliding off of the roadways, and you can definitely see that when you look at the camera. We got cars all on the side of the roads. Good news is, though, is that this is one of our only accidents we have. We have minimal accidents so far. This morning, we had a lot overnight and into this morning, but overall, this has been the big story so far. You can see that car onto the side of the road there. Lots of the trucks have been off to the side as well. Watching this camera over the past couple of hours, we've seen a few different things. One, we've seen a lot of cars trying to navigate their way through all the cars that are pulled off towards the side. But another thing is a lot of people getting out of their cars and starting to walk around the roadways. My advice would be, if you get yourself caught in one of these situations today where there's cars and trucks jackknifed on the road, stay into your car until crews respond to that. Last thing you want to do is be outside of your vehicle and then another car starts sliding your direction. That's my advice to you. Crews have started responding to the scene though, and it's going to take a little bit for it to get cleared up. Good news is that those red icons that you see, those are accident icons. Actually, we have another one there just to the north, Benton County, Highway 71 or Highway 94, excuse me, multiple vehicles stalled on the roadways, stuck in snow and ice. So I imagine crews going to be responding to that accident as well. No cameras in that area. As for Northwest Arkansas, those are our two accidents that we have right now across the river valley. Not seeing any of those accident icons, at least for our viewing area. But what you do see there is a lot of those blue lines. What do those blue lines mean? That's snow covered. You're going to see those on the iDrive and RDOT websites for at least the next several hours. Morgan Wrigley was talking with Dave Parker this morning, and the advice that he was giving is, hey, between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m., that is going to be the absolute worst time to get out on the roadways unless you absolutely have to get out for work or anything else. You just need to stay inside, enjoy the snow for a little bit, because crews are going to be working overtime to try to get these roadways clear, at least the major highways. What's going to happen first, knowing these systems and what we've seen in the past, is that we're at least going to get one lane open on major highways here in a little bit. Then they're going to be start to working on multiple lanes. Those back roads obviously going to be taking a little bit longer to get snowplows into your neighborhoods and getting that cleared up for those roads. So just be patient with not only RDOT crews, but also those county crews as well that are going to be clearing off those roadways. The good news is that I think by the time we get to this afternoon, we're definitely done with the heavy snowfall. But then once we get to the overnight hours, that's when we could start to see some of this melting we'll see today refreeze, which would lead to black ice and patchy ice concerns. Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert will talk to you more about that coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks so much for that, Stephen. All right, we're giving you live looks all across our area. We have reporters spread out across from Northwest Arkansas to the River Valley. Checking now with Jacob Beluthi. Where are you at, Jacob, and what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, good morning, Joe. We are right here in Lowell. We're right next to the Workman's Travel Center here in Lowell. We're looking right as at I-49 going northbound. And kind of similar to what Kayla said, just literally in the last 30, 40 minutes or so, the snow kind of letting up just a little bit lighter right now. But I looked at Lowell Public Works' Facebook page, and they said that they actually have their grader out to try and help with the ice that's packed under the snow. That's something that I can attest to. Just even walking, when I kick some of the snow away from me, there is a layer of ice under that makes it super slippery. That's something that not only people outside walking need to be aware of, but also the drivers getting up here to Rogers. The roads were super icy, super slippery. A lot of snow on those roads in the kind of the 2 hours that we've been here. Snow plows have been coming northbound, southbound on I-49. That's really good news. And again, what all emergency officials are saying, if you can stay off the roads, please do so. That helps these crews get to and from where they need to be, and also helps those road crews clear the snow from the highways. Now, similar to what Kayla was doing, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a check of to how much snow we're seeing right here in Lowell. Got the trusty meter stick right here. Good, you got it. Okay. About 5.5 inches, almost 6 inches. That's probably enough for some nice sledding out there. I've been looking around for some hills myself to see if there's a place where I could go, or maybe to catch some people that are probably enjoying this day off of school. But really, if you can do so, enjoy the snow day safely. It's probably best spent at home. And as right now, as I'm talking, again, roads look like there's a lot of cars coming by. Again, people still on the roads, I get it. There's places we need to be, but again, drive safe, drive carefully, drive slow, get to where you need to be, and get there as safely as possible. I'll go ahead and send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks for that, Jacob. I mean, you got to have a little bit of fun out there, right?
Oh, absolutely. I hope he does find a good hill and a good sled.
I think so. But this is a live look right now. I-49, the Fulbright Expressway there, just right outside of Johnson, Springdale area, where this portion of the interstate has been backed up for quite some time. Several vehicles have slid off of the roadway because of these slick conditions and are there now within those trees.
Yeah, and we were just watching this cam before it popped up, and we were watching cars trying to kind of back out of the way, and you could tell that they were struggling just to do that because it is so slick out there.
Absolutely. And as more cars travel, it sort of breaks up some of that, turns to water, and those temperatures, it can't be good. But let's go ahead and check in with Chief Meteorologist Scott Culver just to give us an idea of if the system is moving out of our area yet.
Indeed, moving out. We're on the tail end. There's still a little bit of snow falling out there. Over the last several minutes, y'all have just really blown up our cell phone, and I love that. I thank you for it. You're our eyes, you're our ears out there. Got some numbers to pass along to you. We're getting this input into our weather system, meteorologist Stephen Elmore over there. So I'll be able to show you, but I'm going to read it to you just in the meantime. This is our number here at the station. It comes straight to my cell phone. I'm going to read straight from some of your text messages, 479-785-5000. I'd love to know how much snow you picked up. These are some preliminary numbers, and of course, you got to keep in mind, just because you live in one town and one person reported 10 inches, you may have seen 9 or 11. That kind of variation is pretty common. Sallisaw, Paris, 9 inches, Podo 10, Lavaca 8, Muldrow 9, Alma 8, Ozark around 8.5, Fort Smith 8.5, Van Buren. I got 2 reports, one of 6 inches, also one of 7.5. Also saw a report in Van Buren of just 4 inches. So looks like there's some variation across town there. Barling 9 inches just came in. Bentonville at 6, Farmington 7.5, Lavaca at 9, Rudy at 10.5, Ozark at 5.5, Lamar at 8, Springdale at 7, Stillwell at 7.5. Also got a text message from Clinton West down there in the Greenwood community south of Ozark, not the actual town of Greenwood, but south of Ozark near Altus there, of almost 8 inches of snow. So certainly a very impactful, memorable snow for many of us. And today's going to be the day all the kids and even the big kids get to go out there and enjoy it. Here's what radar shows us right now. We still have some snow showers moving slowly but surely off towards the east. If you look for some of those darker colors, that's going to tell us maybe we have some higher snowfall totals or snowfall rates that inevitably is going to add a little bit more on top of what's already out there. I wouldn't expect those accumulation numbers. I got to take my phone out. Boy, y'all are just going at it. That's awesome. I'll get back to those text messages in a minute. Here's our big system. We're on the tail end. Here comes the cold front. I know, it's going to get colder. Tonight we're down into the teens and low 20s. It's going to get noticeably colder as that front continues to move on through. As the front does move through, it's pushing in some more dry air, which is going to undercut all the snow. We're going to get a little bit out of what's left, but certainly not going to add up to a lot. Here's the timeline for the rest of the day in northwest Arkansas. Relatively low chances. They're going to continue dropping into the overnight hours and through the afternoon, I should say. In the River Valley, I think we're going to hold on to that chance a little bit longer. Here's what it could visually look like. 8:30 this morning, so a little more than an hour from now. Maybe we got a couple of spotty snow showers lingering, but really that's going to be pushing out off towards the east pretty quickly. We'll see a little bit of sunshine today, a little bit of melting. Look at those temperatures. Many of us are above freezing this afternoon. And so, unfortunately, we'll melt a little bit, but it's not going to be a lot of melting given the snowpack that's out there. So once that sun starts to set, as that front's moving through, we're looking at teens and 20s tonight. So there is going to be a freeze. Those roads, even though they might be improving for the next few hours, they're probably going to get much worse tonight because instead of a snow, which is somewhat easy to drive over, we're talking about probably a layer of ice out on those roadways. And that's going to be a challenge tonight into tomorrow morning.
All right, thanks for that, Scott. We're taking a live look in Clarksville this morning, and that's where we find Johnson County Sheriff Tom Hughes.
Yeah, checking in with him and Sheriff this morning as the sun is coming up. What do conditions look like there in your county? Are you guys seeing a lot of wrecks, a lot of accidents?
The conditions here are, we've had quite a bit of snow. I think I went outside a few minutes to get my truck ready, and we've got, over 8, I'm guessing close to 10 inches of snow. Talked to dispatch earlier, and we have a deputy that's in the ditch waiting for a tow truck to come get him. And I'm about to go pick up a deputy and bring her home to her kids that had to drive in last night. So roads are pretty slick.
Absolutely. And you guys have some very rural areas there in Johnson County. Last check on some of those rural roads. What do those look like?
Actually, you cut completely out. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, we were just asking about the rural roads in Johnson County with so many. What does it look like for some of those folks who live in those areas?
Those are very well covered. I sent a picture to your to Mr. Langford about how much snow I've got. I live in the rural part of the county. I'm not even sure I can get up my hill to Highway 21 yet.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that is a tough area there.
Yeah, so just taking a look out there, what would your advice be to people if they plan on getting out today?
My advice would be that if you don't have to go out, please do not. There's only so many tow trucks out there, and I hear they've been pretty busy all night. We've already had a truck jackknife on 21 by about 6 o'clock last night, and it appears people are still being dispatched to drive from like Harrison over the mountains and down 21, and those 18-wheeler trucks just have no business on these windy, twisty, slick roads right now.
And so when would you say is the last time y'all saw a snowfall like this in Johnson County?
Like I said, I'm literally running on Wi-Fi right here. I'm getting just like every third word.
When is the last time y'all saw snow like this in Johnson County?
I can't hear you.
Do you remember the last time you guys saw a snowfall like this there in the county? All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, Sheriff, for that. I appreciate it. I know you're having a bit of a tough time. That cell phone service can be rough just a little bit, but we sure appreciate you being here with us this morning, sharing the information there from Johnson County Sheriff Tom Hughes. All right, let's go ahead and take another look at traffic happening across our area. This is a live look. That's what most of the interstates, whether you're talking 540, you're talking 49. These are the conditions across our area. So the best advice, I know we've said it all morning, but can't say it enough. If you don't have to get out, I mean, don't, because you take a look at right here. This is the Fulbright Expressway, I-49 outside of Johnson, the Springdale area, where they've had an accident that's sort of been slowing up this area for quite some time now.
Well, and even though it might look like some of those areas on the road there are clear, while they might be for the most part, there are still going to be those slick spots, especially as that wet snow keeps getting packed down and kind of put back onto the road by cars kind of slinging it around. So just be careful out there. Take the day to drink hot chocolate, watch movies, and go sledding if you can.
Yeah, you know, and Scott has said it, Stephen has said it. This is some good snow. It's some good fluffy snow for building a snowman, maybe even a few snowballs. You know, meteorologist Stephen Elmore has talked about having a snowball fight with us. I think it could be the perfect kind of snow to throw around at him here in a little bit.
Yeah, I think that is something that we definitely need to do. So, Scott, you're taking a look at those conditions out there. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about what people can expect as the day goes on?
Yeah, so road conditions are not great at all right now, and we've heard that, and I wouldn't expect that to improve quickly. As we've heard from RDOT, this is a statewide event. So typically in these winter weather events, I'm going to make this camera view a little bit easier for you to see. This is a look statewide. Typically when we get some snow to move through the area, it often only impacts a portion of the natural state or a portion of Oklahoma. Therefore, RDOT and Oklahoma Transportation, they can reassign their assets from other parts of the area and move them into the affected parts. But that's not the case. When you look at those road conditions, RDOT has a tall task ahead of them. And I know they're out there working like the Dickens to get this thing cleared up, but it's going to take them a little bit of time. Temperatures aren't necessarily going to help a whole lot, a little bit of melting out there this evening or this afternoon before it starts to refreeze later this evening. So if you got somewhere you just have to be, I think you're going to really need to take it slow, try to avoid being on the roadways if possible. I get it. There are certainly people that can't avoid it, and you're just going to have some issues out there. We've been monitoring this accident at the Fulbright Expressway. This is what it looks like right now. You can see it involves at least a couple of 18-wheelers, one of which jackknife. Okay, now I count 3. Towing and recovery on scene, a couple of passenger vehicles out there. So a pretty impactful accident. That's going to cause some significant slowdowns out there. You can see the salt mixture on the roadway there. Even with that salt and even with the treatment they've been able to do, we're still having accidents like that. I don't think this is necessarily going to wrap up anytime soon. We'll be working these accidents most of the day. It looks like there's another one on Highway 94 just to the east of Rogers. Rogers City municipality reporting through the RDOT portal that parts of their roads are covered in ice there. That's what the purple is showing up. But it really looks like a broad spectrum of the area. I'm not sure there's going to be any one area that have good roads right now. Give it a few hours. Those crews are out there. They've been working through the night. Mother Nature only helping us a little bit with those warmer temperatures. The key takeaway is I think we're probably going to see improving road conditions maybe by late this weekend. That's not to say you're going to be trapped at home all weekend, but I think for safe travel, I think maybe Sunday's probably going to be the best day. We'll hopefully maybe Mother Nature will warm up a lot and we can get some of these roads cleared up quicker.
RDOT telling us that they have more than 2,000 workers with RDOT that have been working since this whole event began, in some capacity, whether it's the road crews, the office, all working to, do the best they can while this is happening.
Yeah, and a big thank you to all of them out there. They're taking time away from their families while a lot of people are getting to go out and sled and have fun. They're out there working to keep us safe. So a big thank you to RDOT as well. But with the snow comes those freezing cold temperatures, and Brandon Lewis from our Verify team is here with some tips to keep the heat in your home.
Frigid winter temperatures are here, and with record high energy prices, you might think twice before cranking up the heat. So we looked into some common questions about whether things people do to stay warm are really a hot idea. First up, does turning your thermostat way up heat your home faster? Our sources are the U.S. Department of Energy, the Environmental Protection Agency, Black Hills Energy, and HVAC maker Glen Dimplex. Furnaces have just two settings, on and off. They rely on a thermostat to know how long to stay on. Cranking the temperature up from 60 to 70 will only make your furnace run longer, but it won't heat your home any faster because it only has one setting, on, whether it's trying to increase the temperature 1 degree or 10 degrees. So no, turning the thermostat way up won't heat your home any faster. Next up, can window treatments help save you money? The Energy Department estimates in an average home, 1/3 of heat is lost through the windows. You can prevent some of that from happening by keeping the drapes or shades closed at night because they act as an extra layer of insulation between your home and the windows. This helps keep up to 10% more heat inside your home, which can lower your energy bill. So, yes, window treatments can help save you money. Finally, ceiling fans are a great way to stay cool, but can they also help keep your home warm? In the summer, you should set your fans to rotate counterclockwise to blow air down. This helps sweat evaporate and makes you feel cooler. In the winter, the Energy Department recommends reversing your fan so it spins clockwise and then using the lowest setting. This pulls up the cool air and displaces warm air that's near the ceiling. So, yes, ceiling fans can help keep your home warm. We featured even more answers to questions about staying warm this winter on verifythis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
All right, so we're going to go out to Sebastian County now. A lot of rural areas there in Sebastian County. They saw some significant snowfall. So we'll check in with the Emergency Management Office this morning. Travis Cooper, he's been with us giving us some good information this morning.
Yeah, and Travis, we want to know, while people are getting out on the roads if they have to, what are those spots that they really need to avoid?
Yeah, good morning, Tiffany and Joe. I just wanted to share that, yesterday it was a little chaos because we had 2 hours of just heavy traffic going in. We did the pre-treat before. We were able to see a lot of good impacts from doing the pre-treat, but last night we had so much snowfall. I got a report earlier. We're almost close to 9.5 inches in the Sugarloaf and Hartford areas currently, and it's starting to fade, but it's still falling in Sebastian County. And so one of the key factors that we're really seeing is that as people are starting to commute and get into work and to their destinations, we're really seeing fairly good traffic flow. And so that's a good thing, that we're seeing one-lane traffic, good distance between vehicles, and the snow plows and the graders that are out there on our county roads, and then also the state highway department within our municipalities as well, that you will see the tracks of where the graders went to. And so stay in those. That's what we highly encourage. If you have to get out, get in the tracks, stay in the tracks, keep a good distance.
Yeah, and Travis, I know a lot of those folks there in southern Sebastian County who live in the rural area, some of them may have to venture into town today. Some of those southern areas, what are they looking like? Were county road crews able to sort of give them a path that far south into the county?
Yeah, so we had a shift change roughly around 6 a.m. this morning. And so you'll actually probably see there'll be about 6 trucks out going from the county road departments on those secondary to tertiary roads. And so just know that if your road doesn't seem like it's cleared just yet, the trucks are out there and they're coming your way. They'll probably have some loads of sand and some salt with them, but primarily the focus is plowing those roads and getting them clear before we do any other kind of treatment. We understand the temperatures are going to kind of shift throughout the day a little bit, close to that freezing mark and a little bit below. So the focus is to make sure that as you get out, it doesn't matter if the roads look good or clear to some degree, but it's real poor right now. And later we get, and then when we do treat the roads, just know that still travel at a slow and steady pace. Don't accelerate quickly or don't brake excessively.
Absolutely. And just one more question going into the weekend, but of course we're still going to have to deal with some of these freezing temperatures as some of that snow sort of melts and then freezes back. What does the plan look like for Sebastian County Emergency Management or even county road crews as we head into the weekend?
Yeah, so our key role is to make sure everyone is informed. So we're going to try to make sure that what we receive from the National Weather Service and working with you guys and our partners that our emergency crews and our road crews are well informed as to what's to come in the not just in the next 12 to 24 hours, but even the next 2 hours. So as much information is collected is very coherent and to be shared. It's very important to know that our road crews, they've been out all night working in different shifts. And so we may try to look at and see how we can do that, stepping into the night hours of Friday to Saturday. But we'll gauge that as much as possible, knowing stepping into the weekend, hopefully there won't be as much traffic. We encourage you to stay home and don't get out if you don't have to.
Well, thank you so much for that information, Travis. Y'all be sure to be careful out there, and thank you so much for everything y'all are doing for Sebastian County. Well, now let's send it out to 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi. He's in Northwest Arkansas this morning, and he's in Lowell telling us what it looks like out there. Good morning, Jacob.
We're still up here in Lowell. The snow has gotten a little bit calmer, just some light flurries right now. It's really beautiful outside, especially as it starts to get lighter. I don't really want to say the sun's coming up. I mean, it is over the clouds, but we don't get to see the sun, but it is getting a lot lighter out here. Hopefully that helps with visibility over on the on the highways here. I know getting up here, it was a little bit hard to see. The snow was coming right at us. There was a lot of, snow on the ground and visibility was kind of low driving up here, but hopefully as the day starts here, that the visibility becomes better and people can drive a little bit safer on the roads. Some silver linings, I guess, from what we were hearing from Matt Ray earlier. He spoke with me. We were texting back and forth earlier as well, saying that there was no real major accidents or traffic accidents to report. I just spoke as well with Don Lisi. He works with the Rogers Department. He says only 2 so far. So hopefully that means that people are kind of taking our advice and really listening to officials when it comes to road safety and being on the roads. Traffic has picked up, a little bit of a lull right now, but really in the past 30 minutes or so, traffic has picked up on I-49. People getting to and from work, totally understandable. They have to get there, but please remember to do so safely. I just want to take a step off frame because it is, just take a look at how white this area is. It is just covered in snow. It is absolutely beautiful. This is not something that you get to see every day here in Arkansas. I know as someone coming from Southern California, that's where I was born and raised. This is truly, truly something that I just don't take for granted. It is absolutely beautiful out here. So be safe and just, taking the moment. It is, oh, there's a snow plow over there coming down. Hopefully he comes and pushes snow off this road because it was difficult getting up here. But it is a really beautiful day as the snow starts to taper off a little bit, and maybe we'll see some kids out here sledding pretty soon. But I'll go ahead and send it back to you guys.
Absolutely. And if you get a chance, I think, Jacob, maybe you need to do a little bit of sledding or maybe some of that snow that was behind him there, maybe fall back in it, do some snow angels, mess it up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks so beautiful out there.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to give you more live looks across our area. Let's go ahead and head out now to 5 News reporter Kayla Davis with a look. Where are you and what are you seeing?
Hey, Joe, that's right. We're here in Rogers, and as you can see, it's still looking super serene, clear snow all behind me, and even in the trees looking absolutely beautiful. And now that the sun is up, that means there's probably going to be a lot more people on the roads, just like Jacob said. And we were told that there's a traffic backup all the way up to mile marker 67. I called in to the Washington County Emergency Manager. He told me that it's not so bad that they've called them in just yet, but of course, please stay off the the roads, you guys. This is exactly what we've been telling you all about since we got out here this morning. Will and I, my photog, got out there this morning and our car even slid, and we were going about 10 miles per hour out on I-49. So it's super dangerous, and that doesn't just go for the highway, it's also county and city roads as well. I just got done speaking to Judge Patrick Deakins, and he says there's been multiple cars that are stranded out there, obstructing them from being able to get out there and clear out all that snow as much as possible. So once again, I know we've kept telling you guys since yesterday, please stay off the roads if you can. It'll help our emergency responders and it'll help you to stay safe as well. All right, I'm gonna send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks for that. You know, I was in Spiro yesterday, speaking of, the conditions out there. Let's talk about Oklahoma for just a minute. I was out in Spiro driving yesterday when this was coming down really good. And driving through Spiro, I mean, you couldn't see the roadway. You just sort of made your own road, picked an area, and you just went for it.
Yeah, they got the snow and they got it fast. And our 5 News reporter, Lauren Spencer, she's out in Poto this morning. And Lauren, I feel like no one is having more fun than you in the snow. Last night you were making snowmen. What's today? What's on the agenda?
Tiffany, I've been having so much fun out here. I said, I went through my checklist of all the things I did in the snow so far, and today I think I want to cross off actually sledding. I want to go down the hill with some kids, have a good time here. But first, going to give you guys some information. So last time I was out here, we measured the snow. It was probably about 3.5 inches. Let's try again. We're going to see where we're at now. We'll go here. I'm gonna say roughly 6 inches. That's a lot of snow. We can really tell here now too, because the snow has definitely slowed down last time I was out here, but still flurries, still kind of coming down decently steady. And I talked to the emergency manager for LaFleur County, who said, please continue to stay off the roads. The roads are still very, very slick here. Even when we were driving down the street here, our car was sliding a little bit. It was a little bit slippery, so that's just a test. It was a 2-minute drive and it was still pretty slippery. And people here in Poto on Broadway, the cars have been pretty few and far between, so I think people are listening to our pleas. So again, just make sure to stay off the roads, stay safe, stay warm, and maybe go sledding like me today. We'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, I think you're definitely in the right spot, maybe to do some sledding. You got some good hills there in Poto. I can tell you about a few, and you got that great snowfall. And she's in one of the areas there in Oklahoma where they got some of the most snowfall out of this.
We're jealous. We want to go sledding with you, Lauren, so do it for us as well.
Absolutely. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert to look at those totals. I mean, there in Poto, they received quite a bit of snow.
Quite a bit, almost everywhere. And you know what's so fascinating, and I think folks are really just waking up right now, we're starting to see a lot of photos and a lot of reports being sent in. Some folks went to bed with 2-3 inches, and they're waking up to much more out there, a winter wonderland across most of the area. I'm going to show you a few numbers that we've received in, but I'll tell you they're coming in so fast. Meteorologist Stephen Elmore's fingers can't type fast enough, so I'm going to read some of these off of my cell phone here. Looks like we've got a report out of Altus of 10 inches, off Moody Road in Fort Smith up to 8 inches of snow. Let's see what else we can pull out here. Almost a foot north of Muldrow in Sequoia County from Hunter. Hunter, thank you so much. They just continue coming in very, very quickly. Waldron around 10, Poto around 10, Fort Smith at around 8, also at 8 in Pleasant View. I think Huntington, we're gonna, this was an early number. I keep seeing more and more, especially out of southern Sebastian County, where we see probably higher totals. So just because this says one thing doesn't mean that was consistent across everywhere in your town. There can be some variation from one side of town to the next. At 9 in Salisoff, Paris, Fort Smith, again, we're getting some 8s out of Fort Smith, 8 also in Alma, a little bit more than 8 in Ozark. Let's see, we got Lavaca right around 8, Muldrow around 9, 7 in Springdale, 6 in Bentonville, Farmington just coming in at 7.5. Charleston, Mulberry, Greenwood at 9, Knoxville at 8, Rogers at 4. What else we got here? Stephen, Clarksville at 11 inches, Mena around 11, Arcoma 10, Worcester at 10, West Fork right around 6. I'd love to know what you have in your backyard. There can be town-to-town variation, so if you have a number that's different than what I just showed you, I need to know about it. 479-785-5000, that's our number here. It comes straight to our cell phones. We'll get those numbers updated, and at the end of the day, it may take a little bit, we're going to get that information to the National Weather Service. Those reports actually get input into a database that actually helps to improve improve our forecast models going forward, and we would love to see that happen. Here's what live radar shows us right now. Snow's continuing, so it's not over. Now, we're on the tail end of the event. I wouldn't expect these numbers to change drastically, but we'll have some moderate snow continuing here for Franklin, parts of Madison, Carroll, a good amount of snow still coming down in Johnson County. We just heard from the sheriff there. Logan County, we're still getting some snow. Boy, if anyone's watching from Mount Magazine, and I know there are, I'd love to see what's happening on top of Mount Magazine right now. Scott County, boy, that's one of those sweet spots where we saw a lot of snow continues to pile up. There's a little bit of a dry slot here as our system starts to work its way off towards the east, but there is one more final band of snow running pretty much parallel with Interstate 44. That's back in northeast Oklahoma through the Tulsa area. That's going to be swinging its way our direction. So we do anticipate a little bit more of snow before this thing is all said and done. What about a check of those 7-day forecasts? We'll see some temperatures certainly warming up going into the weekend. I think Stephen's going to get me over to that 7-day. I still have my show program for the 10-day at 10 o'clock. I'm sorry. I'm not used to doing the morning show, and I've not had enough coffee yet. So we'll see temperatures today. Stephen just pulled up. Thank you. 34 degrees, Northwest Arkansas. That's only 2 degrees above freezing. I'll tell you, it's going to take a while to see some significant improvements out on those roadways. The problem with this is at 34, yep, we're going to get a little bit of slush out there for an hour or two, and that's where we're heading overnight. 17 degrees. It's going to refreeze. It's going to be a pretty thick layer of ice out on those roadways, especially secondary and side streets. I think interstates and highways are going to be first to improve, but those secondary and side streets, it's going to take a while. Sunshine tomorrow helps us out. 40 in the afternoon. That's going to be a good news for us. We'll be at 40 again Sunday afternoon, but I really think overnight into the morning hours, we're going to have some issues. A pretty quiet week of weather next week. Temperatures are going to be cold, though, well below average. Gosh, Monday, we don't even make it out of the 30s in Northwest Arkansas. It's going to be a chilly one for us. Maybe by the end of the week, we're closer to average in those upper 40s, maybe some low 50s in the River Valley. That forecast shakes out like this. Our weather impact alert stays in effect all day long. No, it's not going to snow all day. I think we've probably got 2 or 3 more hours of snow before it starts to really taper off. It's the fact that road conditions are going to be troublesome for a lot of us. Your River Valley forecast keeps us in the 40s through the weekend, the first half of next week. Maybe, just maybe, we'll see 50 by Thursday of next week. Just got a report from my friend Randy Hillard along Highway 309 between Ozark and Paris. He's got almost 9 inches of snow. Can you believe it? What a winter wonderland it is. Stephen?
All right, let's take a look at some. We got that one big accident that's on the Fulbright, right? That's what we've been following so far. When it comes to other accidents across the area, nothing being reported across the River Valley right now from RDOT, but there is still a lot of those snow-covered roadways. Those are the blue lines that you see there, but just none of the accident reports. Sure, some of these back roads may be starting to see some of the effects coming from this system where we have RDOT's going to clean off the major highways first, right? They're going to try to get one lane open, then work on the next lanes after that. What's going to come towards the end of cleaning the system up, though, is those back roads, your neighborhoods, right? And when is that road going to get cleared? Well, a lot of it is going to have to wait a little bit. Earlier this morning, we heard the worst time to be out is anywhere between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. So now we're sitting at 7:45, and you see still a lot of the roadways really struggling this morning. So maybe that 8 a.m. window needs to be pushed back just a little bit. Again, it's been repeated multiple times. I'll say it again. If you don't have to be out, don't go out this morning, because we still got a lot of those roadways covered, especially on the major roadways still. Let's take a look at that accident that's on the Fulbright right now. That's the major accident that we've had that crews are trying to clear up as best as possible. Still, we have at least one. I think I see 2 there, jackknifed semi-trucks. Tow trucks have responded already. But what we also see in this image right now is cars trying to drive around the accident route because they got places to be as well. If trucks are sliding off that roadway, I imagine it's very difficult for those cars to slide off as well. So if you have to go anywhere near the Fulbright, I would suggest at this point taking an alternative route. You can take a little bit more time to get to your destination by avoiding this, because if you go through this area, who knows how long you're going to be stuck in this type of traffic. Again, good news, crews have already responded, already starting to see some of that accident cleared up just a bit, but still got a while to go before we see any of that reopened or reopened and moving once again. I believe we do have another accident, Northwest Arkansas. Yeah, that's going to be across Highway 94. This is being reported as multiple vehicles stalled on the roadway, stuck in snow and ice. There is no camera in that area for us to see what it looks like, but RDOT is reporting that all lanes are impacted by this. So if you're traveling through that area, it's going to more than likely be pretty slow. Again, we take another wide zoom here. Those are our two major accidents that we have right now. More accidents across Little Rock Metro as well. But almost everybody, actually, we can just show you. Almost the entire state of Arkansas, outside of just towards the southeast portion of the state, is seeing some of those blue lines. Of course, we had the ice developing across southern portions of the state, further up towards the north. A lot of that snow, and those are the blue lines that you see. Almost the entire state impacted by some type of winter weather. This is going to take a while to clean up, as we've heard so far this morning. Be patient with those crews as they try to get those roads back open.
Thanks so much for that, Steve. I'm surprised there isn't more accidents along I-40, but I think a lot of folks, if you look at those cameras in a lot of areas, I mean, they are sort of staying off the roadways.
Yeah, they are. Well, I think, one thing that came out of COVID was the opportunity to work from home and do Zoom and meetings online. So I think a lot of people are taking advantage of that today. Well, we're continuing to track these winter weather impacts across our area. And 5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley, she's been in Fort Smith for the last 24 hours.
Yeah, let's check in with her. Live look this morning. Morgan, has it stopped snowing yet in Fort Smith?
Hey, Tiffany and Joe. It hasn't quite, periodically we've had some on and off. Right now there's still some tiny little flakes coming down here in Fort Smith, and we're here by Rogers Avenue, busy road, and it's been fairly busy this morning. Not seeing many cars right now, but there've been more here than we even saw on 540 when we were over there earlier. And you can see that the road is definitely snow covered, but it's been plowed. And for the most part, people are going slow, taking their time, being careful, and not having much trouble. I will say at this intersection behind me, we've seen several cars stopped at the light. When they try to go, they have some trouble getting started and their wheels start spinning because there's still that snow on the ground. People waving as they drive by. But you can see these cars going by. Another thing you'll notice on the cars driving by, like this truck right here, they have snow stacked to the top. And our car was like that when we came out this morning. It took us maybe 10 to 15 minutes to get our car cleared off. So if you do have to get out on the road today, as we've been saying over and over, everyone's advising you to stay home, especially this morning if you can. But if you do have to get out, just know that you're gonna probably have to spend some time getting your car ready to go because the snow that's on the ground is also stacked on top of your car right now as well. For now, back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much for that, Morgan. Now, this morning, as the snow was falling in the overnight hours, we noticed a few power outages started to come in southern part of Arkansas. That number throughout the morning as the snow continued to fall, it grew significantly. I mean, there's down in Miller County, southern Arkansas, more than 12,000 folks without power. Not that many, though, here in our area, but we are seeing just a few.
Yeah, Ashley Harris with Ozark Electric, she's joining us this morning. And Ashley, thankfully, there haven't been a ton of power outages here in our area. And what have y'all been doing to make sure that that doesn't happen throughout this storm?
Good morning. Yes, we haven't had that many outages, and we didn't anticipate that many with the type of weather event that we're having right now. But currently, we do have about 380 of our members out of power, but we have 16 crews that have been dispatched and are working diligently to restore power and will be available throughout the weather event just to make sure that our members get their power back on just as soon as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those out there who are sort of just curious, what is it sort of causing these power outages? I imagine it'd be sort of like the snow on the power lines. Is that what we're looking at?
That's exactly it. It's the type of snow that we have, just really weighing down those power lines. In these types of events, there can also be some downed trees that are affecting those lines as well. So our line crews will be out there making sure to restore that power, but they also may be having to do a little vegetation management and remove those trees from those power lines so that we can get our members up and running with that electricity.
So for those who are without power this morning, how long do y'all think this will take for them to get the power turned back on?
We do have 16 to 18 crews out at all times. They've been working throughout the night and throughout the morning and will continue to do so. Really just depends on where those outages are. We do have a lot of members that are in very, very rural areas, but we do have all of the equipment and our trucks are equipped to get out to those rural areas and make sure that we restore that power very quickly.
Gotcha. And any plans that say if it does get a little bit worse, I'm sure you guys for weather events like this, you have plans in place where extra crews maybe regionally could come in to help if that is the case.
Absolutely. We have, had different crews on call throughout the event preparing for this. The past few days, just knowing this was coming. We have plenty of individuals that are ready and are on call, and we can dispatch as many crews as we need to take care of any outages that occur.
Perfect. Well, Ashley Harris with Ozark Electric, thank you so much for being here with us morning and sharing that information with our viewers. Stay safe out there and thank your crews for the work that they are doing. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look outside because we want to know those road conditions as you're waking up this morning. People are interested. They want to know what it looks like. And it is sort of the same story across the state of Arkansas, even across our area. Snow-covered roads today.
Yeah, you can see the iDrive Arkansas map right here. This is a great tool that RDOT has for us. And you can see the roads that are impacted. That blue means snow on the roads, and other colors as well mean things like hot pink is ice patches, purple is ice itself. And another great tool about this is you can actually click on cameras like we can see right here, and you can see what those road conditions look like live. So this is a bridge over the Illinois River where you can see it looks like it is a slushy bridge right there. And Joe, you coming from the River Valley last night, you drove over a lot of bridges on the way here. And what did those look like for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, it's slick out there, right? It's going to be if you go too fast anywhere. But I feel like, RDOT crews have been preparing for this since the beginning of the week, and they did a great job. And you'll see those snowplows. If you're out there driving, they're making their rounds, clearing off as much as they can at a time. You can see the snowplows have actually hit I-49 here, taking care of some of that. So if you're having your travel this morning, you'll notice there's going to be at least one side of the interstate there that you're going to be able to travel on just a little bit. But I mean, look at that. I mean, you're looking towards Fayetteville. Isn't that beautiful? Like, it's just a winter wonderland here today.
It's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a scene out of a movie, but we've had the chance to talk to RDOT throughout the morning. And, they said this is kind of a rare thing where this is statewide. So they don't have as many crew members as they typically would if this is an isolated incident. They just have their normal amount for each area, and they're working really hard. They're working around the clock. He said everyone's working 12-hour shifts, and they're ready to go. And so this is going to be something that they're doing throughout the day as they continue to plow that snow now that the snow is hopefully slowing down. Right, Scott?
Yeah, no question about it. Let's get a check of the live radar out there this morning. We've still got snow falling down. Now, yeah, we're on the tail end of the event. I wouldn't expect our numbers to change drastically, but a little bit more snow is certainly going to be a real possibility for us. This is what radar shows us. There is a bit of a dry slot that's entering into parts of East Oklahoma, now into northwest Arkansas. Some snow really starting to squeeze out those last few flurries in Franklin, really in Johnson and Logan and Scott counties there. So you see some of those darker blues and purples telling us some heavier snowfall, but we looked at this last final band. It's getting closer and closer. It's now passing through the Tulsa area. That's going to be drifting off towards the east, and that's going to bring us a little bit more snow, and that should be the last band for us. Big old storm system. My, oh my, look at all that moisture now getting pulled into parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, still dealing with sleet and freezing rain. The freezing rain in South Arkansas was a little bit more than those folks forecast, and that is certainly going to be a problem for that part of the state. Unfortunately, that's where we see several power outages, a little bit of sleet in that part of the area as well. Thankfully, we avoided that. When you talk about winter weather, snow's one thing. We can get through snow pretty quickly. When it's ice, that's a whole different story. Here's water vapor imagery, and I don't show this a lot, but I think it does show a pretty good picture for us this morning. These blues, that's going to be the really abundant moisture. That's going to be those big, fat, wet snowflakes. Whereas this is telling us we've got that dry air moving, and you can see that trough of low pressure digging into the lower 48 there over the Four Corners region. As that continues to swing on out, we get that cold Arctic air to filter back into the area once more. We're back in the teens overnight tonight. Here is the Northwest Arkansas timeline for the rest of the day. It's going to be tapering off. We're in that lull right now. Here comes that band that's moving through the Tulsa area. Expect that around 8, 9 o'clock this morning. Once it clears us, our snow chances are going to really taper off the rest of the day. It's going to be a cloudy day. Temperatures briefly warming up above freezing by a couple of degrees in northwest Arkansas. River Valley, similar story, similar timeline here. We'll have that one next burst of snow, and that's probably going to be it for the rest of the day. You can kind of see what's happening there on Futurecast by 9:30. A lot of it's done. I wouldn't rule out a few light flurries still continuing even into the afternoon. The atmosphere is going to try to squeeze out as much moisture as possible, even that little bit bit that's left, but at that point, we're not really looking at weather impacts. It's not going to change what's already out there on the ground right now. In fact, our models indicate we're pretty much done with this in terms of any additional meaningful precipitation. Here are our winter storm alerts. There are numerous. Of course, everyone's under that winter storm warning the rest of the day. Temperatures are going to get cold. I did it again, Stephen. Dadgummit. I went to the 10-day forecast, which that's fine. I'll get to it. I'm struggling here. I've not had as much coffee as I need to this morning. Backing up to the river valley, we'll start there. High temperature today of 38 degrees. Back into the teens overnight tonight. The temperature is going to be dropping down to about 17 overnight tonight. So if you have late night travel plans, maybe you work the overnight shift, or maybe you have early morning travel plans tomorrow. I got a Facebook message yesterday asking about a baby shower in Northwest Arkansas on Saturday, and were they going to be able to make it? Do they need to cancel it? Well, I think roads are going to improve on those interstates and highways slowly but surely. You're going to really want to watch for some of those patchy areas of black ice. As Travis Cooper with Sebastian County Emergency Management told us earlier, look for those lanes that they're going to carve out with the graders, right? That's going to be a really good spot for you. That doesn't mean it's going to be fast travel. I don't think we're traveling at 70 or 75. I think safely we're much, much lower than that. By Sunday, we're in those 40s. We'll continue to see the temperatures drop by Monday before we start to warm things back up gradually into the last half of next week. And it's a gradual warm up. It's going to be dry for the most part the next several days. So we have a big impactful event here, and it does look like we have several days of just some sunshine. That'll be nice to let things melt off. I will tell you, just in this full spirit of transparency, the Climate Prediction Center put out an outlook yesterday, and I posted it to my Facebook if you want to go check it out, saying that there's at least a slight chance of additional heavy snow sometime the second half of January. So I don't think Old Man Winter is quite done with us, at least not yet.
All right, thanks so much for that, Scott. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about the transit system. That Ozark Regional Transit telling us that they're not running the bus service today, which they run bus services from Fayetteville to Bentonville, so that has been closed. You won't have any services. And in Fort Smith, the Fort Smith Transit there, they've actually limited theirs to essential only today. Now, when they're talking about Saturday, because there's a lot of folks who use that service, they're still trying to make that decision as of right now.
Yeah, so definitely just keep up to date on social media pages, through phone calls, like seeing if those businesses are open or running that day, because a lot of things are closing. Well, now we're going to send it out to 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi. He's been out in Lowell all morning. And Jacob, we want to know what you're seeing out there right now.
Yeah, I earlier in my earlier live hit, I forgot to say when I was kind of walking around, this snow right now, it feels like powdered sugar. That is how soft it is. That is how nice this snow is if you're just walking around and touching it. It just, that's the way it feels like. But we're right here in Lowell, right off of I-49. Right now, there's not a lot of cars driving. That's the good news. In the past 30-40 minutes or so, definitely seeing that traffic, though, has been picking up. People getting to work, people have errands to run, people have things to do. That's totally understandable. If you're doing it, if you're out on the roads, please be safe, please be cautious. And you know, one of the other things I was thinking about as well is just walking around, and I've been trying to go around to this. We're kind of right outside of an apartment complex here, trying to talk to residents, but every time that they kind of come out, I'm trying to run over there, I realize how deep this snow goes. It goes to around my ankles, a little bit higher, kind of to my shins. And one thing I was thinking about as I was doing that was you have to really be careful, because you don't see steps, you don't see where there might be a dip in kind of the ground. So not only is driving an issue, but as well as making sure when you're out there walking, when you're going down, especially stairs in the snow, they're super slippery right now. I've slipped a couple times over there. So those are a couple of things that I've kind of just been monitoring and thinking about in terms of safety. Yes, we've been talking a lot about the roads, but I know a lot of people are going to be walking to places today, whether that's to get their groceries, whether that's to do things. Just be careful when you're walking. The roads are icy. That goes for cars, and that goes for when you're walking as well. But really, we heard from Lowell Public Works earlier. They're going to start bringing out that grader as well as the snowplows. We've been seeing the snowplows coming back and forth. That is great news. Just making those roads a little bit safer for residents. But Lowell Public Works, where we're at right now, saying they're going to kind of bring out that grader, cut through the ice so that people are able to drive safely here. But it is the sun's starting to rise. It's the daytime really showing what happened overnight yesterday when I was in Fayetteville, just seeing how much snow there was. I didn't think it was going to be this much snow today. I know we've been hearing it all week, but I still was shocked by how much snow fell overnight. and getting here was a little, you know, treacherous this morning. Hopefully people are staying safe out there, but it is really beautiful out here. It's really serene, and the snow now coming down really lightly, but that's the update I have for you guys right now in Lowell.
All right, thanks so much for that, Jacob. I love how excited he is for the snow, and I love seeing our reporters this morning. They're just having a good time.
Jacob's from California, so this isn't something that's super common.
It's a treat for him. And what else we love is the photos you guys have been sending in.
Snowman.
From building the snowmans to the pets out in the snow. I mean, you guys are having a good time with it too, and I think that's sort of what it's all about, right?
Oh yeah, this is so much fun. We love seeing this. We're getting to kind of live through you as we're on air this morning. So be sure to keep sending these in. We'd love to see all the snow that you've gotten around the area and how you're spending your snow day.
Yeah, definitely. If you do a little bit of sledding, send us that video. We love to see those. All right, let's go back out live in Fort Smith this morning, checking in with 5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley. She's been there overnight and into this morning, where it sort of the snow tapered off a little bit. Morgan, what's the latest?
Hey, Tiffany and Joe. Yeah, it's really tapered off here. It's still coming down in these tiny little flakes, but now's a great time if you want to get outside for the snow day. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is the perfect snow. I've never even seen snow that's this easy to build snowmen and snowballs with, so maybe I will have to build a snowman in between live shots here. We'll see. But again, I want to show you also just how deep it is. That is a deep footprint of snow there. That just shows you how many inches we have, and I should have brought a ruler to see how many inches that is, but you can take a look at that and see for yourself. And that was on the roads, but we've seen snowplows coming through here on Rogers Avenue trying to keep it clear. Cars are moving by, taking it slow here along Rogers, and I will say yesterday all the businesses along Rogers Avenue almost closed early, and this morning the ones that would be serving breakfast, we have Chick-fil-A, Tropical Smoothie, they're still closed. So we'll see if maybe they're planning on having a late start today, but for now, if you're getting out and going anywhere, you're not going to find many businesses around here in Fort Smith that are going to be open, and roads still aren't the best. So again, as we keep saying over and over, everyone's advising everyone to stay home if you can today. But if you are staying home, great time to get out and enjoy the snow day. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much for that, Morgan. It's good to see, that they're plowing Rogers Avenue there, because I know that's a high traffic area there to the west of Morgan there. To her right, if you are standing there behind her, that hill there on Rogers Avenue, it's a bit steep, so they have to sort of plow that, or there would be, I've seen it in years past when it snows, cars just sliding down that hill. So they certainly definitely want to take care of that as best they can. All right, we're giving you another live look this morning using these live cameras from the Arkansas Department of Transportation, where several wrecks happening this morning.
Yeah, this is a live look there at the Fulbright Expressway. For the last few hours, we've seen this backup because multiple cars have slid off of the road due to those slick conditions. And so it's just a reminder to be careful out there, because a lot of people are still getting out, it seems, and you definitely need to use caution, take it slow, and think about, too, the emergency responders that are having to respond to these accidents. And so just be mindful when driving out there.
Yeah, definitely. But it looks like, out on the interstates, looking at I-49, 540, road crews are doing the best that they can to sort of keep one lane at least clear for the most part, to get those who have to head out today up and down the interstates. So they're doing a great job doing that this morning. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on those roadways for you. We'll show you the latest conditions. Keep it right here with us.
Yeah, it looks like RDOT's done a great job. They said the biggest concern was getting that snow to slow down so they could really plow, and it looks like they're getting to do just that. So thank you to all the RDOT crews out there. And now we're going to send it over to Sheriff Derry Berry. He's out there looking at what the conditions are like there. Sheriff, can you tell us what it's like there in your area?
All right, so that's a sheriff there in LaFleur County. We'll have him in just a bit. But this right here, this is in, I think, Siloam Springs, I believe. You're seeing a live look, the state line there of traffic going back and forth. And that is a good travel area that they have cleared out here.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a road that people often take to go, between Arkansas and Oklahoma. And so people have to get out and do that. It looks like they've done a great job of clearing the roads. People are still taking it slow out there. But again, RDOT is doing Such a good job.
Yeah, they were telling us, through this winter weather event that they have more than 2,000 workers for RDOT working on this winter weather event in some capacity. And they have so many snow plows on standby. We heard Dave Parker a little bit earlier telling us that this would deplete their sources. But of course, that was okay because they're taking care of the roads out there for us, and they're more than happy to do that. All right, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert for the latest on this winter weather system. Hey, Scott.
So since the last time you and I spoke, we've received about 500 text messages. It's taken Stephen a lot of time to get through those, but we are coming through every single one of them, and I love it. Here's the thing. I need to hear from a few more folks in Benton County. Specifically, I'm looking for Bella Vista, Gentry, Sulphur Springs, Gravette area. I really want to know how much snow you guys had. So if you can, help me out. Get that ruler, get that tape measure out, 479-785-5000. I'd love your reports from everywhere, but I got a little bit of a hole that I'm trying to fill in there. 479-785-5000, our number here. In LaFleur County near Haw Creek, 11 inches of snow, almost a foot. Now in the town of Magazine, about 10 inches. I bet there's more up on the mountain, no question. 8 in Lamar. Got a report of 6 in Prairie Grove and Siloam. Sallisaw, Paris 9, Fort Smith, Alma 8, a little more than an 8 in Ozark. I saw some closer numbers to 9 actually, south side of Ozark earlier. Lavaca 8, 9 Muldrow, Springdale 7, Bentonville 6, Farmington 7.5. Charleston, Mulberry 9, Greenwood also coming in at 9 inches, Knoxville at 8. One report out of Rogers of 4 inches, and then on another side of town, I think it was closer to 7. So there can be town-to-town variation. So if I'm calling out your town and I'm saying, hey, you got this much, and you're thinking, no, sir, I got more in my yard, I'd love to know about that. It's very helpful for us. Again, 479-785-5000. 11 inches in Clarksville. My goodness. Mina also coming in at 11. How cool are these numbers? This just doesn't happen very often. 10 in Arcoma and Worcester. 6, our current reading in West Fork, Mansfield. 8, I think Mansfield maybe end up being a little bit higher. Mansfield, send me a text message. If you got 8, I'd love to know for sure. We did receive at least one report of 8, but something tells me those numbers elsewhere might be just a little bit higher. Tawnytown at 7.5, Winslow at 7, Elkins 5.5, Fayetteville at 5. Van Comer, our general manager here at Channel 5, got out his official ruler, gave us that measurement there on the east side of town. Hartman at 10 inches there in Johnson County, Barling at 9, Roland at 9, New Blaine there in Logan County also at 9, Dyer at 9 inches. These are some incredible totals, and I think we're going to continue to see a little bit more snow. I don't think these numbers are going to necessarily increase drastically, but you got a little bit continuing to fall. In Johnson, Logan, and now in the eastern half of Scott County. Here comes our next clip in parts of Benton and Washington. And then here's the cold front itself, right here, stretching pretty much parallel with 44 right through Tulsa. That's going to be swinging its way our direction. And inevitably, that's going to give us just a little bit more snow before it's all said and done. After this weather system, things get really quiet for several consecutive days. 34 degrees, today's high temperature in northwest Arkansas with a 40% chance of snow showers this morning. Most of this is going to begin to taper off, let's say by mid to late morning. I think by lunchtime, maybe we see a stray flurry or two, but overall, it's not going to be much more impactful than what we're dealing with out there right now. The heaviest of snow has certainly already fallen. What we can see is just the cherry on top, a little bit more of a dusting and coating on top of what's already fallen out there. 38, the high in the River Valley. That's going to be giving us a little bit of melting. Unfortunately, as we drop to 17 overnight tonight, it's going to refreeze. And instead of just being snowpack on those roadways, it's ice. And so, you give and take a little bit. We'll see some slush this afternoon. Roads will become a little bit more passable for a few hours. But once that sun sets, expect it to turn into a solid sheet of ice pretty quickly. And that's going to be a little bit more dangerous and treacherous than the snow itself. Yeah. You can make it on snow. Mm-hmm. It's, I don't care if you got 4-wheel drive. I don't care what you got on ice. You're going to be sliding.
You bet. You bet. And, RDOT has talked to us about what they're going to do to address that as it happens. They're switching in between sort of like a salt brine that they've used. They're also using beet juice and then the calcium chloride at times as well to sort of combat that. So they're not just using one substance out there. They're switching back and forth and trying to find the right mixture for it as well.
A lot of science and a lot of trial and error behind it. And they know what they're doing. and gosh, they were out there working ahead of this event. And that's one thing that's maybe working in our favor in terms of road conditions. Often these events start out as rain. And because of that, you can't pre-treat roads. You can't try to get ahead of the storm because the rain just washes it away. In this case, we knew we were going to start with a frozen precip. And so they were able to get out there, I think it was probably Wednesday afternoon.
You told us Tuesday. They started on Tuesday.
I passed one of the brine trucks. And so that really helped make the situation less worse than it could have been. Otherwise, we'd be really looking at some road impacts.
Now, this is a live look right now along I-49. This is mile marker 80 there in Rogers, giving you a live look at the road conditions there.
It looks beautiful.
It does. You look at these cameras, it doesn't even look like what we're used to seeing, right? The same road.
My goodness. Looks like just one lane passable there. Folks are moving pretty quick. I'd probably recommend they might ought to slow it down just a hair.
I know, making me a little bit nervous out there.
A lot more people on the road than I would have expected.
But that's what they said we were going to see initially was, hey, we're going to try to get one lane open. Stay with us, bear with us the rest of the day. We'll try to get two, then try to get all of them open, and then we work the back roads and get into your neighborhood and stuff like that. What they want to try to open up is the main artery. Try to get people out to the highways, at least one lane, even though it doesn't look completely cleared off. It's better than what it was this morning when we were taking a look at what it was when we still had some of those heavier bands mixed in. All right, we got another camera here for you. This is going to be Mercy Fort Smith. Beautiful outside, lots of snow out there. The roads look at least semi-cleared off just a bit. One car out there early this morning. Good news is, doesn't look like a whole lot of cars are out there, but you take a look at that parking lot. Those are the folks who don't have a choice. Got to go get to work this morning, and we really appreciate it.
Yes, we are.
A lot of those folks slept at the hospital that last night. Those doctors, the nurses, everyone. We appreciate you folks.
Yeah, definitely. My mom works at UAMS in Little Rock, and her and my dad were just texting me. My dad drove her to work this morning because it doesn't stop, right?
Oh, love Dad there.
There's a lot of essential workers out there that it doesn't matter. There ain't no such thing as a snow day, and we applaud those folks.
We even saw the snow plow there in Mineral Springs area turned over. Emergency personnel, just minor injuries from that, but still, you know, putting their life on the line to clear these roadways for us.
Well, and Joe, I don't know if you saw it on your Facebook post where you posted that picture. One lady commented and she said, my husband, he works the snow plow. She said, and they always say the biggest problem, it's not necessarily going over the weather itself, it's the people around them that kind of cause them to have mishaps like that or cause them to get in dangerous situations.
And this is a live look right now east of the I-40 interchange. It's just beautiful when it's untouched, like there in the middle and then off on the side. Those are the best shots. It's, if you in the neighborhoods, those are completely untouched. That's where you want to get out and maybe take some snow winter pictures with the family today.
This is where you get the snow ice cream too, guys.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up in front of Steven over here.
You know what? Our news director, Michael Aaron, has accused me of not making the recipe the correct way last year. He got his snow from somewhere else. I selected my snow from another section of our 5 News studio here. Apparently wasn't the right one. So, you know, I'm just going to stay away from snow ice cream this year. I'll let someone else make it.
Me either.
That's okay. Hey, we were talking about the perfect layer of snow. We were taking a look earlier. That's a nice layer of snow. I have no idea where that is. But
Snow covered that camera a little bit.
Guess where it is? Oh.
Ooh.
Well, our highest total so far that we got was 11 inches in
use the science.
Clarksville.
Is that our roof camera? Is that right?
Oh, you know what? That's exactly what it is.
Is it
the roof camera?
Yeah. Is it right here on the top of Channel 5?
Children's
outside of Fort Smith.
No. But we were also looking at the Fort Smith Marshall's Museum. That is the perfect.
Beautiful.
No one has touched it yet.
That will be a sledding
The
spot
barge
today.
is the only thing that's gone by.
We want to jump on it and just do the snow angel.
If you want to make the most perfect snow angel, you have a section of some grass there that's completely snow covered, and not a single footprint has gone through it. Race out there, take a video of it, send it to us. Yeah.
I'm pumped about kids getting out and having fun today.
Yes.
And I don't want to necessarily get on a soapbox again because our viewers have probably heard me, but this is the time for one final reminder. We had that Arctic air move in Sunday, and a lot of those shallow ponds in our neighborhoods have froze over. There is a thin layer of ice, and I'm afraid that I would just hate for us to have to report on a kid that thinks, oh, I can walk over that pond, and just to find out that the ice is not thick enough to bear weight. You got some snow on top of that. Looks are going to be very deceiving. Before the kids go out today, just have a really quick chat. Say, hey, avoid the waterways, avoid the ponds. It's not thick enough. and everyone can go out and have a safe, fun time.
We are not in Minnesota.
That is
like it, but we're
great
not.
advice.
Even though it
Great
may look
advice
like
there. All right, let's take another live look out in our area. We're going to go out to 5 News reporter Jose Carranza. Jose, where are you? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, right now I'm here in Springdale, just off of Sunset and I-49, and I am part of that group. Tiffany, as you were mentioning, you know, your dad drove your mom to UMS in Little Rock. Well, I had to drive my girl Ari to Washington Regional in Fayetteville, and look, yesterday I did a story on some driving safety, some driving tips while out on this road, and I had to use some of those tips because I was driving back from there all the way to the station, and if you know anything about Fayetteville and Johnson and that area, it's pretty hilly. And so I got to a point where I came up to a hill and I hit a red light. I had to stop. I got stuck at the top of that and I just panicked. I looked back, I saw that there were cars coming my way, and I started sliding, and I stopped there for a little bit, and some people had to jump out of the car, and they started trying to help me push out of the way. We pulled off to the side, and I couldn't make it. But really what did it for me was eventually I thought about what Kimma Harper yesterday at the Driving Academy of Northwest Arkansas told me was put it in low gear, get some momentum. When you're going to that hill, just make sure you keep that momentum as you're going up into that hill. And thank goodness it was a green light and I got through. And it's still the same thing once I got to the station. Our station is at the top of a hill, which, oh my goodness, it's beautiful, a beautiful view from up there, but woo, it's difficult to make it up there. And yeah, it was very hard. So if you're gonna go out driving today, please watch out. Make sure you're taking it slowly on these roadways. Make sure, and if you don't have to go out, wait a little longer. There's going to be crews out clearing these roads and hopefully making it safer for our drivers. Just to give y'all a real quick update of how much snow we do have here in Springdale. Here's my yardstick, my trusty yardstick, putting it down. And I think Scott was right. We're at least 4 inches right here. But I'm telling you, early this morning, whenever I woke up, there was way more than that out in my driveway. For now, we're live in Springdale covering news where you live. Jose Carranza, 5 News.
Thanks for that update, Jose. Well, we are going to head out to Oklahoma and LaFleur County, where we're going to talk to Sheriff Rodney Derryberry, where they've seen a ton of snow there in Oklahoma.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the most snow in our area, reports coming in from that area. And Sheriff, this morning as people are waking up, some having to get out and head out, what are you guys seeing there in LaFleur County?
So around the Poto area over here, we've got anywhere between 8 to 10 inches of snow. Down south is 11 to 13 inches. Traffic's moving slow over here, as you can imagine. But they do have a few lanes that's cleared. Oklahoma ODOT has the best that they can. Like I say, traffic's slow over there. We have no reports of accidents this morning or anything like that.
That's some really good news this morning. And I know you guys had posted some information on your Facebook. A lot of people who maybe don't have four-wheel drive getting out, causing some of those accidents in the area. So maybe those folks who don't have those capabilities, sort of asking them to stay home and don't get out if they don't have to.
Yes, because from about 9:28 yesterday morning till midnight last night, we had 31 reported accidents. Out of them 31, 11 was motorist assist. So as the evening went on yesterday, more people started, staying closer to home. I guess they needed everything they could get, but also we'd ask they just look out for their neighbors and their animals too. We haven't had any reports of power outages either. That's one of our big concerns right now too.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing that y'all haven't seen any of that. Now, Sheriff, for the essential workers who do have to get out this morning, are there certain areas that are worse than others or certain roads that people need to avoid?
Well, all of your your small roads, your county roads, your municipality roads are still have a lot of snow on them and stuff. Even the main roads do. So just if people's got to be out, keep in mind to take supplies with them. If they don't have to be out, please do not be out.
And Sheriff, just real quick, it's really important for folks in that area. Highway 59, Highway 112, going to Poto, Spiral, and Pacola. What do those main roads look like this morning for folks who need to get out and travel it?
So right now they're slick. I mean, they are drivable in one-lane areas on the highways. Like I say, we ask, if people does not have to be out, please don't, because the weather conditions, Joe, Tiffany, as we see, even if something does melt, the overpasses, the bridges, they'll refreeze and be slick again. Our emergency personnel, all the way from EMS to Oklahoma Highway Patrol, everybody was out all day long from 6 in the morning all night and working. Some of them's trying to get some rest and already back out this morning. So just keep that in mind.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheriff, for being here with us this morning and sharing that information. Thank you.
All right, well, now we're going to send it back over to Fort Smith. That's where we find 5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley. Morgan, snow, it has slowed down a little bit, but it's still coming down. People are still trying to get out, get on the road. What's it looking like out there?
Yeah, maybe coming down just a little bit, Tiffany. I think the story of the day here in Fort Smith is that we got a lot of snow overnight, still had it early this morning, and now you just have a beautiful snow day to enjoy and probably don't want to be out driving. Most people are staying home, I think. Usually this is Rogers Avenue, very busy road, but not too many cars out. You can see a few coming by. Throughout the morning, I think road conditions here on Rogers have been getting better and better. That's because there have been lots of snow plows and road crews coming through. You can see when these cars are driving by, it's mostly slushy. You can even see the water splashing up. Earlier this morning, it was pretty heavy snow that people were struggling to get through. Their tires were spinning, and now you're not seeing that as much. They see the pace picking up, but we know that with that moisture on the road, there is going to be a danger of refreezing later, but crews are staying on top of that this morning. And as I mentioned, it being a great snow day earlier, I was showing you how great the snow is. I was going to try to make a snowman, but I just don't have the right gloves for the job. Maybe don't have some knit mittens if you want to make a snowman. This is what the progress I made. So I think I'm gonna leave that to Lauren. She made a great one yesterday in Poto. So maybe you can check back in with her if you want to see a good snowman later today. For now, back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Morgan. I think with those gloves, you might be good at making the snow angels.
Yeah, I think that is the perfect thing. They might get a little wet, but you got to make sacrifices sometimes.
I think so. All right, let's go back out live with Jacob Luthi joining us in Lowell once again for a look at the conditions there. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. As if right on cue, it seems as if the snow has picked up a little bit here in Lowell. We had a bit of a lull for a little bit for the past hour or so. There wasn't really that much snow coming down, but definitely picking up right now. Maybe getting that little bit of last minute snow before it starts to taper off later in the day, but it is coming down pretty heavy right now. I-49 pretty much all day has been at a steady pace. Cars still coming to and from, whether that's Benton County over to Washington County or vice versa. A steady flow of cars coming here now. People on the roads, but haven't been hearing a lot of honking or really anybody sliding off. Haven't been seeing any of that happening here at this location, so that's the good sign. I just spoke with a resident at the apartment complex that we're right in front of right now, and he told me he just got off work, and the one thing he said, and I know a lot of people are experiencing this, he goes, this type of weather will test drivers. This type of weather will test kind of how good some drivers are, because he was saying that he was getting off work and he was slipping and sliding, kind of what Jose was saying a little bit earlier. So a lot of slick roads still happening as the snow continues to come down. I was thinking of just doing one more check to see exactly how much snow we're seeing right here in Lowell. I'm going to go ahead and put it into the ground here. We got about 6 inches earlier, about 5.5 to 6 inches earlier. And that's about right where we are right now still. We're still seeing about 6 inches of snow here in Lowell, 6.5 almost. there's a lot of snow here, and as I explained earlier, it's a little bit like powdered sugar. It's really soft, it's really fluffy, it feels really good, and it's just beautiful out here as the sun starts to come up, as people start to, I know a lot of kids are off at school today, so I'm sure they're going to be having a great time, whether that's sledding, whether that's building snowmen, whatever it is that they might be doing today. It is a really beautiful day if you get to stay home and enjoy it. But I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks so much for that, Jacob. All right, let's go ahead and go to Cassie Lapp with Bella Vista to get a look at the conditions there.
Yeah, Cassie, it's so hilly in Bella Vista. What are those roads looking like, and what are y'all doing to make sure that people are safe out there on the roads?
Good morning, guys. We have all hands on deck right now. Our street crews are out clearing the main roads, but as you know, it's continuing to snow, so they will just keep clearing and clearing until it stops snowing, and then they'll focus their efforts on the residential streets and get those cleaned off.
Let's talk a little bit about the police effort, law enforcement emergency crews. What has that effort been like since the snow started moving in through Bella Vista?
Well, it helps a lot when people don't have to go to school and a lot of businesses are closed, but people have been trying to get out, and we have encountered a lot of people getting stuck in their vehicles, and even our street crews guys have been getting out and helping some stranded motorists get back going again. So it would be really nice to just have everybody stay home, and we'll get the roads cleared as quickly as we can, and it's so beautiful, so it's a good day to sit and watch it, right?
Yeah, absolutely it is. And in the city of Bella Vista, there are a lot of businesses, I imagine. Are those closed for the day?
We do have a lot of closing. The city itself, the city offices are closed today. The library's closed. And like I said, the crews are just going to work and clear as they can and do what they can while the snow continues, and then really hit it hard when the snow stops and clear the rest of the roadways.
All right, and for Cassie, those who have to leave Bella Vista to go to work, maybe they work at Mercy Hospital there in Rogers, or essential workers, things like that, what advice would you give them if they have to get out on those Bella Vista roads today?
If you have to get out, maybe put a few extra things in your car, some water, some snacks, just in case, to be prepared. You never know what's going to happen. Slow down, take it easy, especially on the hills. Our trucks have sanded the more dangerous areas, so there should be a little bit of traction on the hills, but with the snow continuing to fall, that may or may not stay. So slow down, take your time, give yourself plenty of time, give yourself plenty of extra room between you and the vehicles in front of and behind you, and just take it easy, get in where you need to go.
All right. Thank you so much, Cassie. We appreciate you being here with us this morning. Some great information coming out of Bella Vista. Make sure to stay safe out there. All right, let's go back to Oklahoma for you. Some of the areas there in Oklahoma is seeing more snowfall than most of the other areas around here.
5 News reporter Lauren Spencer, she stayed there overnight. She was having a blast last night, building snowmen, having snowball fights, making snow angels. We want to know what's on the agenda today, Lauren, and are people out there joining in on the fun?
Yeah, Tiffany, Joe, like you said, I was having a blast. Me and my photographer, Sam, we were really just enjoying the snow in all of its glory. I did make a snowman on our 6 o'clock show yesterday. If you want to see what that looked like, check my Facebook. You can check there. Maybe today we'll try to replicate her. I still have all of her items, so we could just build her up again. Maybe like a Frosty moment here. But we, again, are having so much fun out here. We moved locations a little bit. We have a really nice view behind us of Cavanaugh Hill in Poteau. I learned yesterday this is the world's largest hill. Very cool. Very pretty houses up on this hill, and it looks like literally a scene from a movie or a postcard. Just the way that the snow is on the branches, it looks beautiful. I really wish I was up on one of those houses up there, just looking out at the view, seeing all the snow out there, maybe cozied up with a book and my cat. That'd be great, but I'm out here and telling you guys what's going on. So let's look at the snow that we have down here. I'm gonna make a quick snowball for you. It's very, very, very fluffy. Yesterday, I feel like it was kind of more, it was easier to pack yesterday. Now it was super, super fluffy. Great for maybe making a snow angel, falling back in it, just taking in all the snow moment that you wanna have. Maybe not the best for a snowball. I did want to try to throw one at my photographer, Sam, but I'm not gonna do that to him because that would probably be a little bit cold. I will say if you or your kids are coming out here, it's still really cold out. I think we're forgetting that with the snow, you know, being so much fun. Wear some gloves, maybe wear 2 pairs of gloves. I'm kind of cold in my pretty insulated gloves right now, so double up on the gloves, double up on the layers. I have 2 pairs of pants on, a sweatshirt, another jacket over that, and another jacket over that. So make sure that you are super, super warm going out today. If you're sledding, maybe I'll be doing that later. I would love to get down a hill on a sled at some point, and we'll hopefully get to document that for you guys. Gonna send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks so much for that, Lauren. And the sheriff there in LaFleur County, the sheriff's department there in Poto, where Lauren is, saying that the main 2 highways coming out of Poto, 112, which goes to Bacola, Highway 59, which goes to Spiral, that there is 1 lane open on each of those. So if you have to get out today, leaving Poto, heading out maybe towards the Fort Smith area, you can pick one of those lanes and use it.
Yeah, they have been working so hard all around our area. And 5 reporter Kayla Davis, she's been checking in Northwest Arkansas. She talked with Judge Patrick Deakins earlier about things that they were doing, talked to Tad Sowers with the county, and they've been doing a lot of work. And Kayla, we want to know what it's looking like out there now.
We've moved a little ways away right now. We're in Fayetteville overlooking I-49. We wanted to come over here and show you guys what the roads look like because we've been talking about them all morning. It's looking like people are moving pretty quickly and there's no traffic specifically in this area. And this is near the Weddington exit. However, once again, when we were coming out this way near the 67th exit, it was super dicey. Lots of ice where the snow started to melt and refroze over. And now we're being told that there's a lot of backup down that way too. So once again, we're just asking you guys to please stay home if you can. And maybe just go out to your backyard and have a little fun with a snowball. And you can even make a snow angel. I promised Will I would make one before we finished out our streaming. All right, you guys, there you have it. Have fun today. Stay safe, stay off the roads, and I'm sending it back to you guys.
Oh, thanks so much. You've been throwing
so
snow
fun.
at us. I was waiting for someone to do it.
We were feeling the joy through on that. So thank
Definitely.
you so
Thanks
much
for that smile this morning.
Well, we are taking a live look outside where you can see those roads still snow covered. Crews are out there working, people taking it slow out there. And we want to check in with meteorologist Scott Covert to see what it's going to look like throughout the day.
It's going to be a cold one. We got a little bit more snow moving through right now. We'll see that last final band probably mid to late morning. I want to show you power outages. That's something that hasn't been too big of a problem for us, but that's not to say everyone's lights are on this morning. That's not the case. Statewide, we're looking at about 34,576 customers without power. You can see the red and orange really highlights where that sleet and freezing rain caused some big issues in southwest Arkansas. With that said, we'll start in Carroll County. 157 folks out of power there in Carroll County. In Madison, 239 individuals. In Johnson County, 142. Logan, we're at 140. Scott County seeing the most this morning at 353 power outages. Yell County at 119. So while a lot of folks are warm and they got the lights on this morning, not everyone does. Hopefully we can get those power outages resolved here real quickly. I know that our electric crews and our linemen were on standby all night long, and so they're probably responding as quickly as they can. Thankfully here, we dealt with snow, a lot of snow. We didn't have to deal with the freezing rain that's causing a really intense ice storm in southwest and south Arkansas. Live radar right here shows we've got the main axis of heaviest snow pushing out of the area. Slowly but surely, we're seeing things taper off, but we noticed the final band all ahead of our actual cold front moving back into northwest Arkansas. How much additional snow can you expect? I think at most, an additional ½ inch. So our totals aren't going to drastically change with what we've got over the next several hours, but you very well could expect a little bit more, especially you look into parts of northeast Oklahoma, just to the northeast of Tulsa here, you find those darker purples and blues. What that tells us is radar is indicating some heavier snow falling at a bit higher of a rate. Got a little bit more snow moving back into parts of Sequoia, LaFleur counties. That's going to be moving into an area that saw a lot of snow. We're talking southern Sebastian, Scott County, southern LaFleur, where we've seen some of our highest totals. Let's add in about a ½ inch on top of what we've already got out there, and then we'll finally call this winter storm done, probably by mid to late morning before we see things certainly start to improve. Certainly has been a very impactful snow system. Some of the preliminary numbers that we've received thus far, about 11 inches in LaFleur, 10 Magazine, 8 Lamar, 6 in Prairie Grove, Siloam Springs. We'd love to have your reports if you want to continue to send those in to us. The number here, 479-785-5000. We would love to pass those along to everyone else watching this morning, but we'd also love to pass those along to the National Weather Service. And ultimately, that data gets ingested into all of our weather models. And in the future, when more winter storms impact us, which may not be too far down the line, that data really helps to fine-tune some of our models. Overall, this is what it looks like out there. It is a whiteout all across northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, east Oklahoma. Looking at our Bentonville camera, this is along Walton Boulevard where I told you that next snow band's moving in. You can see those flurries are coming down, and it may pick up in intensity for a little bit there. Walton looks okay at the moment. Looks like they've been out there taking care of that road. Downtown Fayetteville, we'll see some snow moving back into the area real soon as that next wave starts to move into the area. Looks like we're trying to see a little bit of that sunshine, trying to break through some of those high clouds there in Ozark as we look off towards the southeast. You got some low clouds out there, so it's certainly looking a little bit on the dark side. Here's that camera that Stephen was talking about earlier. This one sits at the U.S. Marshals Museum there on Fort Smith, overlooking the Arkansas River, looking back into east Oklahoma off to the west. It's beautiful out there, just an untouched blanket of snow, a winter wonderland. A lot of folks went to bed last night with some snow. Certainly northwest Arkansas didn't have a whole lot, and I'm afraid there were people that were thinking, man, this was a bust. We're not going to get anything. And they're waking up this morning to a very different scene out there. We knew that heaviest axis of snow was going to fall late in the evening, well into the overnight hours. That's when the big surge of moisture was going to come out from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's what happened. This storm system has outperformed what the forecast really called for. And so for a lot of folks, we're waking up to a little bit more snow than what was projected. Most folks think that's a good idea. That's a good thing. Had this came in underwhelmingly so, there'd be some folks out there disappointed. So a lot of folks are happy this morning. It's going to take some time to get those roads to improve. I do think that by this afternoon, we'll briefly warm above freezing, certainly not by much, and then things are going to really refreeze overnight tonight. All right, let's check your forecast. Let's go over to meteorologist Stephen Elmore.
Yeah, well, the folks that maybe not so happy this morning is folks that have to hit the roads as well. Really the big story so far traffic-wise has been the Fulbright where that main accident was, but another accident has popped up, this time across the River Valley. Let's take a look at what we got here. Now I'll pull up that camera real quick. There we go. All right, so before we get to the Fulbright accident, here's a look at that newest accident. That's near Van Buren. We take a look at that closest camera, and this is what it looks like. That camera not showing where that accident would be. Let's try another one. Traffic moving very slowly there. So that accident icon's there, not seeing exactly where the accident may be, but really what you see there in this picture that's right next to the interchange next to Van Buren is still a lot of covered snowways, not even one lane yet. Again, this is going to take a little bit of time. Earlier, we were talking about how 5 to 8 a.m. maybe is the best timeline that we have to get some of those main arteries unclogged, but overall, still seeing a lot of these major highways still clogged up there with the snowpack on the roadways, trying to get as much as that cleared up as we go on throughout the afternoon into the evening hours. Definitely we'll see some improvement. Again, as Scott just mentioned, while we're in a bit of a lull right now, we could see a little bit more snowfall coming our direction. So even those one lanes that are open may see a little bit of snow covering back up. All right, let's take a look at that Fulbright accident that has been really the talk so far this morning, and it still looks just as bad as it was when we looked previously. Good news is, off to the right-hand side there, looks like we've got multiple crews trying to clear off the roadway in and around that area. And overall, the one clean lane of the Fulbright doesn't look too bad. Looks like we're up to 2 lanes now, and that's the story that we've been trying to tell you, is that we're going to, when the major highways start with 1 lane, then they're going to work it back over, try to get at least 2 lanes back open. Where we started to see concerns on the other lane there, obviously where we have all the accidents and that one jackknife truck still is clogging up most of it. And now we've got crews that are trying to get that truck unstuck. So it looks like, and tell me if I have some different opinions here in the studio, I believe that section is completely closed off now. So we've got traffic completely stopped on the Fulbright there as they are trying to get at least one lane open. Earlier this morning, we at least had some traffic trying to get in and around that area, but now it's just completely shut off. So if you have to go through this area, I advise you to find an alternative route. This looks to be the last piece of the puzzle of trying to get this back open. Crews are definitely trying to get it open as quickly as possible. The good news is that this is the one major accident that we've had. We've had several yesterday evening into the overnight hours and even this morning, but as of right now, it looks like we just have that one on the Fulbright. RDOT's reporting one across the River Valley. The statement on that's Crawford County, one disabled vehicle on the side of the road. So I wonder if that's not even clogging up any roadways, and that's why we can't see it on the camera. But what you do see there is a lot of those blue lines. That means RDOT is reporting a majority of our roadways are still snow covered. Underneath that snow, more than likely some of those slick spots as well. And again, by the time we see some snow melts, already going to see it this afternoon into the evening hours, that's when we're going to see some water on the roadways. That's quickly going to freeze once we get into the overnight hours, and that's where we enter back into some concern with no longer necessarily the snow on the roadways being the worst thing that we're looking at. Again, it's not really too bad compared to what the ice would be this evening and overnight into tomorrow morning. Of course, a lot of those snow-covered roads right now, that's going to be that way throughout most of the day today. At least the main arteries look to be getting cleared off as quickly as possible. That one accident on the Fulbright still taking a little bit to get cleared up. Hopefully by the next time we check in, it'll start to be cleared up. Joe, Tiff?
All right, thanks for that, Stephen. Well, we are heading out now to Sebastian County, where we're hearing from Captain Philip Peavy House with the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, he joins us now on the phone to give us an idea of what's going on in Sebastian County. Give us an idea of what you guys are facing there. Good morning.
Right now, we've just got snow-covered roads. We're actually in pretty good shape. We've got one pending medical call that's going on right now in the county in the Lavaca area, but that's unrelated to the weather. And so we're seeing about what everybody else is seeing. We've got snow-covered roads, and people can get through. A lot of good work has been done by the street and road departments overnight, and there's usually one passable lane. But at the same time, you can't be driving 55 through there. We had a deputy yesterday evening who actually wrote a ticket to somebody who was doing about 55 on Highway 71. And that's obviously just way too fast, no matter if you have four-wheel drive or snow tires or whatever your argument is. They all stop the same.
And Captain Peavy House, you'll have a lot of deputies out today, I'm sure. Kind of what does the day look like for y'all? And just a fun little side note, I saw on y'all's Facebook, y'all had, it says a tiny little taxpayer asked you to pull her on a sled with the patrol car. Can people ask y'all to do that now?
I'm sorry, Tiffany. I had a hard time hearing what you said.
I said, what does the day look like for y'all, number one? And number two, saw on y'all's Facebook, y'all posted that y'all pulled a little girl behind y'all's patrol car on her sled because she asked y'all to. So can people ask y'all to do that now, or are y'all up for some rides?
Well, we're just advising everyone, if you can't stay home, stay off the roads. And our day is looking pretty good so far this morning. But, of course, our concern is as the day goes forward, is more people are going to start getting out. And as they do, that's going to start creating some more traffic problems. We had some problems last night in the Huntington-Mansfield area on the hills that are there. We also had some problems east on Highway 10. And our main arteries, of course, are 71, 10, and Highway 22. And that's where our snarls were happening last night.
Well, thank you so much. And talk about going into the weekend. What does the response from the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office look like as we head into Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, we're going to have our standard personnel are going to be out there as well as every deputy we have is on call. And if we start hearing from our patrol units that we're having a lot of backups and a lot of problems, we're going to start activating people as necessary.
All right. Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here with us this morning. Make sure you take it easy out there. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look at some of those pictures that you guys have been sending in across our area. So much snow falling, and you guys are capturing it all across the area.
Yeah, we just keep getting more and more. We love seeing all these. Oh, look at that good snow angel right there that Kathy sent in. and all the pets that are out there enjoying it. I love the little coat that Michelle sent in, but so much snow around our area. And if you're getting to stay home and play in it, this is such an exciting time for people.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I keep seeing that barbecue grill that keeps coming across the screen there, and I just so much just want to knock the snow off of it, throw a few steaks on there, and just, that could be some good winter weather stuff,
Maybe you
right?
just gave them a good dinner idea for tonight,
I think
Joe.
so. I think so. All right, let's give you some more live look at the conditions we're facing as you're waking up here on this Friday. Let's go out to 5 News reporter Jose Carranza for a look at what's happening there. Good morning, Jose.
Yeah, hey there, good morning. Out here, I guess I don't have to tell you, it's pretty chilly and it is still snowing, which I expected at this point in the day for it to be done, but it's still coming down. Got about 4 inches on the ground. We measured it a while ago, but this is Sunset and I-49. This is where 412 comes through Siloam Springs into Springdale and keeps on going all the way into central Arkansas. And I'll go ahead and tell you, this should be a lot busier for this time of the day. Almost 9 o'clock. Typically, this is a big arterial road for business, a lot of semis. Good morning to you. But yeah, it's very, very slow out here. Now, one thing that I have been noticing is that there are a lot of people out here, like that guy right there, that is responsible. They've cleaned off their car completely. Kimma Harper at the Driving Academy of Northwest Arkansas says, make sure that you clean your car off entirely. You got to clean off your windows. You got to think about it. You got those blind spots. You got to back up. You got to look up front. I had to back up already today whenever I got stuck on a hill. So you've got to be able to see everything around you. Then on top of that, everything that's on your hood, when you're driving, all that snow is going to get in your face, right on your windshield. So you got to clean that off too. On the top of your vehicle, that's hard. I get it. I struggled this morning too. But the scary part is when that snow on top melts, it becomes a thin layer of ice. And what Kimma Harper told me was whenever you're driving down the highway and that comes off the top, that acts like glass. And you got to think about the people behind you. They're going to all of a sudden slam their brakes. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. So your buddy, it's going to be one of these. Make sure you have one of these. Scrape off all the ice that you can. Brush off any snow that you've got. Make sure your car is as clean as it can be when you go out. If you can, please stay off the roads. Of course, that's what all county officials, all emergency responders are asking for. We're in the Ozarks, y'all. I think we've got hills everywhere. So if you want to go out and have fun, there's plenty of snow to play around with. There's 4 inches here in Springdale. So I know I'm going to be sledding here soon. But hey, for now, we're live in my hometown, Springdale, covering news where you live. Jose Carranza, 5 News.
All right, thanks for that, Jose. Well, we're going to head south a little bit right now and head out to Poto, Oklahoma. That's where Lauren Spencer spent the night. She's been out there having fun.
Yeah, let's check in with her, taking her live right now here this morning. And Lauren, what does it look like? Poto, a big hub for those there in LaFleur County. What do the conditions look like where you're at?
Yeah, hey guys, the conditions kind of the same of what we're seeing throughout all of our coverage. Roads are still a little bit slick, definitely not as many people going down the roads right now, so I think maybe people are listening to our pleas and saying, you know, I will stay home. I guess it's also kind of early in the day if you're off work or if you're off school, so we might see those cars pick up here in the next few hours, but right now roads are pretty quiet, but officials are really asking you guys to obviously stay home throughout all of this, and that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Maybe, you know, do some winter activities like making a snowman, sledding, you know, make a snow angel, or just kind of enjoy some time at home inside your house. That would also be nice because it is pretty cold out here. We changed locations from the last time that we saw you. Still over here, kind of close to this huge hill down here in Poto, and it just kind of looks like, I maybe want to say, a Colorado version of Oklahoma. Like, it just looks beautiful with all the snow coating it, with the homes up there, and the trees just look so pretty. I did learn yesterday this is the world's largest hill right here in Poto, Oklahoma. So if anyone is sledding today, I want to get in on that action. So please send me a message on Facebook or send me a message somehow, contact me. Where are you guys sledding today? I want to come join you guys and go down the hill because that just sounds like so much fun. And we're going to be continuing to have some fun out here covering the snow all day for you guys. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks so much for that, Lauren. We sure appreciate appreciate it. All right, we're giving you information that you need to know this morning as you're waking up, trying to decide if you have to get out on those roadways. Maybe you just want to know what's going on out there. So let's go ahead and go to Washington County, where we have 5 News reporter Kayla Davis joining us live now. Kayla, what are you seeing?
Yep, the snow just got back started. It had stopped for maybe about an hour or so, but now the flurries are coming back down. And I want to mention how when we were driving up to this new location, we saw some pretty unsafe driving habits. One pickup truck had plowed right past us and even past the stopping light. So we just want to remind you guys that those are the types of behaviors that lead to these accidents that we're seeing all across 5 country right now, and end up with cars that are stopped in place that are preventing emergency responders from doing their job.
What we were seeing is in several of our problem areas around the county, there were multiple cars in one area. And of course, those are completely obstructed. There's certain areas in the county right now, I don't have the details of those listed, that the Sheriff's Department just shut the road down because it was too dangerous and impassable. And of course, we were getting snow so fast we couldn't respond to all of it.
We know it's super beautiful out here and you want to come out and enjoy the snow. Trust me, I know. I know Lauren just said that she might be finding a new area to sled, and we actually live in the same neighborhood. So Lauren's going to pick me up because I'm not driving in this area. So we can go sled, but guys, please just stay off of these roads as much as possible. Enjoy the snow out in your backyard or in your neighborhood where it's safe. All right, I'm going to send it back to you all.
All right, let's get a traffic update for you. Good news, bad news. The good news is that the Fulbright's starting to get back open. They were towing that truck away. We can take a look at it. And then as they were pulling it away, it looks like they ran into some more issues. Maybe that semi not completely ready to go, or at least to the standards of what that towing company needs to take it away. So traffic just started to get moving, and now we're stopped again. Again, this is along the Fulbright. This has been the big accident all day, all morning long. And now they try to get that cleared up. Cars started moving once again, and now we're at a standstill once again. So still the Fulbright closed, but or at least not open, not having a lane open right now. But I think here in just a little bit, hopefully they can get that truck finally pulled away, and that'll be the last piece of the puzzle before we have at least one lane open there on that lane. Let's take a wider look. I don't believe we have any more accidents out there currently, which is a good sign. It looks like at least people are trying to avoid the roads early this morning, at least the ones that are really not untreated right now. Again, the main part of this problem is going to be getting the main arteries figured out first. We're talking about I-40, 412, 49, as well as those main roadways, so we can at least get one lane open, and then we get that second lane open, and then we eventually get to the neighborhoods and back roads and things like that. It's going to take a while to get all that snow uncovered. That is our one main accident right now. That accident icon you see in the river valley is for a stalled vehicle on the side of the road that they've just gone ahead and cleaned that up already. So outside of the one accident that we have on the Fulbright that we've been talking about this morning, a lot of snow-covered roads out there. Once we get into this evening hours, eventually we'll start to see minor snow melt, but once you get to the overnight, we are expecting to see some refreezing. Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert has more on that.
Got just a little bit more snow to go. Here's a live picture of Doppler radar. This is the tail end. Now, well, yeah, we can see a little bit of snow on top of what's already accumulated out there. I wouldn't expect our totals to change drastically with what's left. We're on the back side of the system, starting to taper off already. Expect it to continue to fall. We just, as Stephen was showing us there near Fulbright Expressway, you can see those flurries coming down, and that's going to continue to be the case in Washington County, Benton, Carroll, Madison for the next little bit. In the River Valley, we have a good clip of snow right now across most of LaFleur, moving into Scott, back into Sebastian and Scott counties. All of this is tracking relatively quickly. So I think by, let's say, by mid to late morning, we're getting there pretty quickly. Things are really going to be improving for a lot of us over the next several hours. You take a broader perspective, and what you find is there's a really large, impactful snowstorm, and it's still impacting central and eastern Arkansas, extending up into Missouri and Illinois and Kentucky and Tennessee, even as far south as Atlanta, Georgia, dealing with some impactful snow and freezing rain all at the same time. So a very large storm system. We are almost done with it. And you can also take a look at water vapor imagery. I don't typically show this. It's kind of tough to see, but what it tells us is where's the moisture? We already have the cold in place, no question about it. There goes the moisture. The bulk of it's being squeezed out off towards the east. You can see that dry slot that's really going to be undercutting a lot of what's left out there over the next several hours. And then we're done. Big old trough of low pressure. That's going to be our storm system right there. there, and you can see just how large it is. Behind that is more cold air. I know it's cold right now, kind of tough to think that it's going to get even colder, but get this, we're down into the teens overnight tonight across most of the area. So whatever melting does occur likely is going to start to refreeze pretty quickly. We'll take a look at your timeline here. This is Northwest Arkansas. We're going to have that clip moving through, let's say over the next hour or two, and then that chance really drastically drops off going into the afternoon and certainly going into the evening hours. It's going to look pretty similar in the River Valley. We got a couple more hours to go before things really start to taper off for a lot of us. We will hold on to mostly cloudy skies the majority of the day. Maybe a break or two out there, but generally speaking, it's going to be cloudy. It's going to be overcast. Weather impact alert will continue all day long as road conditions aren't going to improve drastically today. We'll have a little bit more ice overnight tonight as those temperatures drop below freezing. Anything that starts to melt starts to refreeze. Sunshine tomorrow with a temperature of 40. So I think Mother Nature is going to help us out a little bit. I don't know if we're totally great on those roads out there, especially secondary side streets, even into Sunday, just given how low those temperatures drop overnight. Going to be a pretty cool week, albeit pretty calm and quiet the next several days as well. No additional precipitation in the 7-day forecast. Winter's not done with us. The Climate Prediction Center actually put out a notice to us late last night saying, hey, you very well could see additional winter weather late in the month. Now, at that range, I wouldn't necessarily put a whole bunch of stock into it, but I think the key takeaway is the overall weather pattern is going to stay cool. We're probably going to get some more blasts of cold Arctic air, and at times, if that moisture is present at the same time, like it is with this case, we could see a little bit more snow. So, in fact, statistically, it's late January into February where we see the majority of our snow, and we're just now getting into that window. So, winter is certainly not done. I hope you enjoyed. If you don't, unfortunately, you got a few more weeks to bear. Look at that map. Almost every major interstate or highway in Arkansas impacted by the winter weather. Unfortunately, that's going to stretch those RDOT crews pretty thin. I know they're out there working hard. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And we send our thanks to them.
Yeah, we certainly do. And, you know, those snow totals that are coming in, pretty impressive,
Oh, no
right?
doubt.
They just keep going up.
Yeah, the Johnson County Sheriff in Ozone, he's saying 8 to 10 inches. We got the former superintendent of Cameron saying there in Fanshawe in Oklahoma, he's got 10.5 to 11 inches. Just a lot.
A lot. This storm system definitely overperformed. Moisture just continued to surge in. We had just a fire hose of Gulf moisture pushing into the area. Temperatures were perfect for snow like this. A very wet snow, so perfect for snowball fights, for snowmen. It's perfect for sledding. It's not that dry snow that we sometimes see.
Right.
All right.
Here's some good news for you. You saw on that camera right there. We were talking about how the Fulbright started to get open, and then it closed down for a little bit more.
Drivers like, oh, we're about to go.
But
a
now,
little longer.
good news is we got that truck out of the way, finally back open. Outside of that, no major accidents out there right now. That's a good sign for us. And look how, I mean, I'm at least still happy with that road right there. If I'm driving along with it, that looks like it's pretty worked over so far. Honestly, I think we continue to see more of this throughout the day, even though the snow that we have coming down right now in the area, it's a light snow, right? It's not going to add completely a lot to our accumulation. So hopefully we continue to see only these road conditions get better before we start to see some refreezing overnight tonight.
Absolutely. And an update coming in from Crawford County, just here real quick from Emergency Management, saying the Highway 59 there in Uniontown still shut down near the Crawford County Speedway. So you're going to run into things like that this morning. And then they're saying they're having an issue with drivers going around barriers. Don't do that today.
Yes, be cautious for sure. And be mindful of all the emergency responders that have to respond if we're messing up. Have a great day.